Why, hello there, people. Oh, it's nice to see you again. Let's get this bitch on here. Who is Hunter Mcvey? Is he this sarcastic asshole model that posts shirtless reels every single day on Instagram? Yes, he is. You know, I think it's quite easy to make assumptions about someone who posts shirtless Instagram reels and is sarcastic and quite a bit of an asshole online. And I wanted to make this video to show people there may be some qualities that you do not know about me, and I may not have got into this in this realm of social media for the reasons that you thought I did. So my goal here is to make a video that goes a little bit more in depth to me, who I am as a person, my background, to give you guys a little bit more sense of who I am as a person, rather than just looking at my shirtless body on Instagram. Even though that helps views, exposure, you do what works, you know, and you continue to do what works. It's why a lot of my stuff is shirtless. You know, people like that side of me. I'm hoping that people like this other side of me as well, but you know, time will tell. It's very difficult for me to condense the message I want to get across a lot of the times into a 1-minute Instagram reel. So I'm hoping that you guys continue to enjoy these YouTube videos, these longer form content, and I hope it gives you a little bit more insight into me and who I am as a person. So without further ado, let's dive in. Water break. So I'm 25 years old. I turned 25 in April 14th. I was born in 1999. God, I miss the 90s. And I currently live in Nashville, Tennessee. That is not where I'm filming from. I'm currently in Los Angeles, staying with a buddy of mine, a photographer friend who ended up becoming a great friend of mine, pursuing some of the modeling jobs out here, pursuing some content collaborations, and out here for about 3 weeks. So that's why you see the cool aesthetic background of my buddy's apartment. No, I did not curate all these plants and all this awesome artwork, even though I do love it, and I'm taking some inspiration to hopefully incorporate into my space at home. I was born in Franklin, Tennessee, which is about 30 minutes outside of Nashville. I don't really have many memories there. I only lived there for a couple years. I spent most of my early childhood in southern Indiana, in Evansville. My backyard was a cornfield. I had an incredible childhood there. Spent my later part of my childhood in Northern Virginia, about 30-40 minutes outside of DC. After I graduated high school, I went to college at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia. As soon as I went to college, my parents moved back to Franklin, Tennessee. So I got to call Franklin home for the summers and winters for my 4 years in college. So I was familiar with the Nashville area, the Franklin area, and kind of called Nashville home since about 2017. So I've been there for about 7 years now, if you count the time I was there for college breaks. I had an incredible childhood. You know, the older and older I get, the more rare I find that is. And, you know, my parents are two of my best friends in this world. You know, if you told me 5 years ago that I would want to spend my weekend nights with my parents when I'm in my mid-20s, I would call you crazy, but they are truly two of the best people on this planet. They did an incredible job as parents, making sure I never worried, and grew up with everything I needed to. So I had an awesome childhood. I loved being outdoors. I played sports my entire childhood. I played competitive golf from the ages of 5 to 18. That was my main sport. I actually wanted to go, my dream as a kid was to become a professional golfer. I've actually won 33 golf tournaments through, you know, those ages of 5 to 18 competing. You know, now looking back and taking a look in the grand scheme of things, it really started early on in my life, how difficult I was on myself, how hard I was on myself, and how competitive I was. You know, I was never satisfied with my results in golf, whether I won a tournament. I always thought I could have shot a lower score, minimized my mistakes, was never really happy, proud of myself, and I was just focusing on the next thing and the next accomplishment and doing something better. And it's something I still struggle with. You know, I struggle very, very hard with staying in the present moment. But, you know, I've found with everything that I've accomplished this far in my life and everything that's been worth doing, more of the enjoyment for me is in the journey itself and the process rather than getting to that end goal. And when you get to that end goal, it's just a split second of maybe you're a little bit proud or a little bit excited or, you know, feeling a little bit accomplished, but then it's what's next. It's on to the next thing. So it's something I really try to focus on now, is just being present with the things that I'm doing. And I have my feet dipped into so many different buckets now with the things I'm doing that it is difficult. But I have people in my life that help me do so, help me stay grounded. And journaling in the morning and looking over some of my thoughts and getting my emotions out and reading some of my past journals really helps me kind of stay present and focus on enjoying this current moment, the journey, and not necessarily getting to that final goal. You know, as a kid, golf was huge in my life. I always found interest in a lot of weird, crazy hobbies, you know, that I would get super invested in and would take up all my time and all my effort. You know, when I was in 5th grade, when I moved to Virginia, I didn't really know too many people. I started modifying Nerf guns. You know, so I would take apart Nerf guns, modify the springs in there, take out, you know, air restrictors and all sorts of things to make these guns shoot harder. I would make my own bullets, get foam backing rod from Lowe's, heat it up in the dryer, cut it, hot glue a washer on there, and they would fly straighter and further. I would paint all the Nerf guns. I had a whole workshop set up in my parents' house. I ended up selling these to the neighborhood kids, selling them to people at school. I even created a YouTube channel in 5th grade where I would talk about my Nerf guns, the modifications I did, and tried to link my eBay listings to the Nerf guns there. So, you know, it kind of makes sense on what I'm doing now in terms of how many times I actually tried to create content throughout the entirety of my childhood. I loved the Nerf guns. I got into doing custom fingerboards. I think that was in middle school. If you guys remember, like the tech decks, you know, I would make 7-ply veneer fingerboards with custom grip tape and molding, and, you know, had a drill press and a bandsaw for these. And I was very proud of the work, you know, and I would sell those to friends, people at school, etc. I got into video games, very much so. And I built custom gaming computers. I sold a few of those online as well. A few of them to people I knew. I actually created two YouTube channels centered around gaming. I started recording my Xbox gameplay, you know, with Call of Duty, created a clan, helped grow that clan to, you know, 45,000 subscribers, had a team of video editors, graphic designers, everything. And then I got into PC gaming. I would make commentary videos. You know, never really made any money doing so, but it was a fun hobby for me. And that's something that's always been apparent in my life. If I have something that interests me, it's really difficult for me to not go all in and be very excited and full effort towards it. I'm very 0 or 100. And, you know, I feel like that can be good in some instances and bad in some instances. You know, good in some instances when it comes to business, relationships, you know, my hobbies. Bad in some instances when it came to drugs and alcohol. You know, very 0, 100. Never really was a good person with moderation. But, you know, I had an incredible childhood. I had a ton of things that interested me. My parents always supported me with anything I wanted to do. You know, my mom's an artist. My dad's a businessman. You know, I would always, in grade school, you know, I would wear these crazy clothes. I would wear these hot pink Vans from Journeys, ripped jeans, you know, the wallet with the chain on them, and I would dye my hair blonde. I did frosted tips. I did blonde mohawks. I did buzz cuts. I've done cornrows 3 times. I did man bun. I've done everything with my hair. You know, you guys have not seen much besides this kind of current haircut I have. But I was so thankful that, you know, my mom especially, you know, allowed me to express myself and be creative and find the things that I like, I want to do, and, you know, work these things out as a child. And, you know, I'm still working them out as a 25-year-old man. But I think that type of childhood and that type of upbringing allowed me to turn into, you know, what I would like to think is a creative person that isn't scared to be themselves and show people that, hey, listen, it doesn't necessarily matter what people are saying about you, thinking about you, what you're wearing, what you're doing, that if you have something that motivates you, if you have something that makes you feel good, if you have something that you enjoy, you know, it's okay. It's okay to enjoy those things, even if they're not, you know, widely accepted by the public, or, you know, it may not be the norm. So, you know, I'm thankful, and I credit that mindset, you know, largely to my parents and the upbringing I have. Now, the backbone of kind of why I started social media, and you'll see my Instagram, my TikTok, it's really kind of fitness, you know, fitness inspired. Fitness has been a huge part of my life for, you know, over the last decade. I was always a bigger kid growing up, but I always played sports. But in 6th grade, I ended up partially tearing my ACL. So it put me out of commission, out of sports for, you know, a good 9 months or so. Always loved to eat, kept eating the same amount, and I packed on quite a bit of pounds. I turned into, you know, the husky kid to, you know, that kid may be on the fat kid line, right? So my fitness journey really started when I was about 12 years old, and I've told people this story before, that you know, kind of that turning point for me when I really decided I need to make a change and switch things up was when a pair of athletic shorts that my father had given me, and you know, he's a big guy, 6'2", I think, you know, probably 220 pounds at that time. A pair of athletic shorts that he gave me actually became too tight on me, and I was in 7th grade. Yeah, so I was over 200 pounds. You know, my belly could not fit into these athletic shorts that my dad gave me, and I remember just sitting there thinking with them like so tight around my waist. I was like, this is it. This is fucking unacceptable. We need to make a change. So, you know, the nerdy little kid that I was on YouTube every single night. I was on Reddit. You know, I was big on those platforms, looking at gaming videos, like I said, things of that sort. My interest kind of switched from that gaming centered, you know, nerd to, you know, let's really dive into the fitness. And so I started watching, I guess, like the OG fitness influencers on YouTube, you know, like Chris Jones, Matt Ogus, Mark Lobliner, Tiger Fitness, Christian Guzman, you know, he's OG in the industry. It's crazy now because his company, Alpha Lead, sent me a message the other day about working together. You know, full circle, crazy. But I started watching these guys on YouTube. I started learning more and more about fitness, macronutrients, caloric expenditure, you know, how to lose weight, how to build muscle, how to train in the gym. You know, I remember in 7th grade, my mom, I told her, you know, exactly what I was doing, what I needed to be eating. I had MyFitnessPal downloaded on my phone, which is, you know, what I still use to track. I tracked all my macros. I tracked all my calories. My mom helped me curate meals, you know, that were lean meat, clean carbs, that, you know, I knew were going to get me to my goals in terms of losing weight. I would pack my lunches to school every single day, log all my food, and then after school, go to the gym. I believe I started with like a Strong Lifts 5x5 program, and then cardio. And so that first journey into the fitness scene for me, I went from probably like 210 pounds down to close to, you know, 160, 150 or so. You know, I lost a significant amount of weight that first go around. And I remember, because it was a lot of it was over the summer heading into 8th grade. And I remember, like, when I first started 8th grade, like, I was in homeroom with some girls that I knew that I'd found attractive, that would never even bat an eye at me previously. And they were like, oh my God, Hunter, you look so good. And then, you know, they're joking with me, laughing with me, talking to me, making conversation with me. And I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. You know, women are starting to talk to me now that I have lost weight and I'm looking better. You know, it's how it works. You know, but from that point forward, you know, it's been a huge part of my life, and it's never been a linear journey for me. You know, it's been more struggle than it has been easy for me, to be honest. You know, after that initial weight loss period, I gained everything back. You know, I started getting loosey-goosey with my diet. I thought I had lost the weight. I thought I'd be good to go. And I ended up gaining that weight back and even more heading into freshman year of high school. And it just, you know, it shot my self-confidence, which I didn't have much self-confidence to begin with. I was always insecure as a kid. I never liked the way I look. I never liked the way my clothes fit. I would not like to go shop for clothes because every time I would look myself in the dressing room mirror, I would just hate the way the clothes fit. I would hate my body and really not like the way I looked. I was never confident. And so, you know, I got to freshman year of high school, gained all that weight back, went through another weight loss transformation, got skinnier for my sophomore year. You know, sophomore year heading into junior year, that's when I started dabbling with drugs and alcohol. You know, fitness kind of took a back seat there. You know, kind of that 0 or 100 personality came out. You know, it's either completely dialed in for me or completely fucking off the rails. You know, and I'm trying to get better, at least in terms of balance, moderation, and it's something I work, you know, hard on every single day. But yeah, junior year came along, drugs, alcohol, I was skinny fat, you know, dialed it back in for my senior year of high school, got in the best shape I had ever been in, and then I tore my labrum in my shoulder. I partially tore it in a basketball game, and then I was playing in our golf regional tournament, and I was swinging on the 17th hole, and it fully tore. It was absolutely disgusting. Like, my group members were like gagging. Oh, it was terrible. Tore my labrum, had surgery. I was in a sling for 6 weeks, and and obviously couldn't lift weights. So every day I walked on the treadmill with my sling on. I remember it was quite depressing, taking my sling off after that 6 weeks and seeing like a dangling noodle hanging down. And so got back in good shape again, went into college at like 190 pounds, decent amount of muscle, lean, very happy. And then the college lifestyle just threw me for an absolute loop. I ended up partying way more than I should have. I joined a fraternity, and it was 100% balls to the wall, guns a-blazing, drinking 5 times a week, drinking and drugs, and you just cannot balance a healthy diet and going to the gym as much as you try. I mean, I still worked out occasionally. I tried to be mindful of what I was eating somewhat, but just with that amount of terrible lifestyle habits, you can't make it happen. So my body kind of changed quite a bit over the course of college. I wasn't really concerned with how I looked. I was so fucked up all the time that I was so sad, depressed, and it just kind of came with everything else. I was like, I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. That was just part of it. It's just how I live my life. And 2020 came around. That was my junior year of college. Going into my senior year, COVID happened. The gyms were closed. I didn't leave the house. I was smoking a ton of weed. I gained a ton of weight. My childhood best friend died in June of 2020, and that threw me for a loop. I had never had someone that I was that close with pass away, and he was just an incredible person. When we had memories together for years and years and years, and I actually, after that happened, there was a point in time where I didn't want to leave my room for a couple months. I remember like that winter of 2020, I was addicted to Xanax. My body broke out in psoriasis all over my body because I was drinking so much, eating so shitty, drugs, and my lifestyle habits were so bad, and I had strep throat for like a couple months, and I didn't know about it, and that's what they said sprung on the psoriasis. So my whole body was covered in red psoriasis bumps. It was all over my hands. I didn't want to go out to parties. I didn't want to go out to the bars. I was embarrassed to even show like how I looked, and I would just sit in my room and kind of just let the time pass by, and it was a very, very dark couple months of 2020. I finished college in 2021. I thought, hey, I'm going to get my shit together once I graduate college, once I get out of this lifestyle, move to downtown Nashville, and really the drinking and everything just skyrocketed, with the Nashville scene, with Broadway, the bars, the going out scene. That's what you do there, especially if you're a young person. When I graduated college, I went into sales at a financial firm that my dad had worked at. I had worked there for the summers and winters in college. That's why I didn't really have the biggest concern with retaining a lot of information in college. I was always just happy with getting on the dean's list in my, PR and marketing degree and sending that email home every semester to my parents, thinking that so they would think I was doing a good job when I wasn't learning anything or retaining anything. Kind of knew that I was going to go into sales. After I graduated, a few months in, terrible lifestyle habits, going out all the time, not happy with myself, still going to the gym, still trying to eat relatively healthy, but, drinking 3 days a week on the weekends, blacking out every single night that I did, so unhappy with myself. I had so many issues that I pushed deep down that I just wouldn't address, and I was just numbing it with drugs and alcohol. I left that job. Some management with the company changed. There was like a big layoff of 250 people for, COVID vax reasons and all sorts of stuff. So I left there. Then I got into selling insurance. I went and got licensed in 28 states, sold a little bit of insurance, tried to start an insurance company with my best friend, a couple family friends, and my father. We all got individually sued from the owner of the last company for a non-compete. He was kind of bitter against us because they had just opened up an insurance company there as well. So at 22 years old, I got personally addressed to get sued, a cease and desist letter. So we had to shut that down. I sold a little bit of insurance on the side. I ended up getting another job, sales and marketing for a CBD company that was more of a startup. And that job gave me a lot of experience. I really liked being involved in, that sort of smaller company that had a lot of promise and a lot of good things in the cards that could go a lot of cool places. So I had built up a sales team there. I had put people in place to rebrand these CBD products for, kind of the athlete celebrity that we had on board. And I was very happy, very, very happy there, because I kind of got to bring out a little bit more of my creative side. I wasn't making good money, but it was good. It was a good learning experience. They ended up running out of money, and they laid a bunch of us off. So I got laid off that job. So they laid me off in December of 2022. The new year started January of 2023. I was looking for jobs. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was thinking, oh, am I just going to sell insurance for the rest of my life? Am I just going to be a salesman for the rest of my life? What am I going to do? I was very overwhelmed. I had no purpose, and that's a tough position to be in. I remember every single day, because I didn't have a job, I just did not want to get out of bed. I didn't want to go do anything. I was like, I didn't know what made me happy, what fulfilled me. The only thing that would give me a little temporary joy was going out and getting fucked up. And so I continued to do that for about 3 months, from January to March, unemployed. I went through all of my savings. I think I went through like $30,000 in those 3 months and got to absolutely nothing. So I was broke. I had no purpose. I didn't want to get out of bed. I hated the way I looked. I was, at that point, I was 250 pounds, because of all the drinking and all the food. I just didn't care. I would brush my teeth with the lights off because I wouldn't want to look at myself in the mirror. So I ended up having a connection with the gentleman I worked at the last financial firm, and he told me about this new company that they're opening an office in Nashville. They do preventative screening, so early detection of cancer and disease through CT scans, catching these cancer and diseases in stage 1 and 2 when you have a lot more options, when they're resectable and you don't have to go through chemo, radiation, all sorts of things. So I found it very interesting. It seemed very promising. I went through the interview process. They had let me know that they did not want to hire me because of my age. I was 23 years old. The next youngest person they had in my position was early 40s. And the reason being is because the clients I was talking to and the clients ultimately that I would be selling to were mostly in their 50s to late 70s, some in their 40s, some in their 80s, but, mostly 50 to 70s. And they just did not think I could relate to these people in any aspect because I was younger. What do I know about cancer, disease, losing loved ones, that point in your life when, you get to those obstacles. So I asked them just for a chance. I went and worked an in-person trade show event with them and got to, show a little bit more of my personality, how I work, et cetera, how I interact with people. I was like, give me 1 month at the job. If I don't come out of the gate successful, just cut me. I just needed something to strive for, and something, I just needed a chance. And so they ended up giving me the job. I went and trained for 3 weeks. I had no medical background. I could barely pronounce colonoscopy. And, I decided at that moment that I was going to go sober for a month while I was training, because I was like, this is an incredible opportunity. There's good money involved here. This is a job that I could see myself really loving and working at a long time. And I want to give it my all. I want to give it my 100%. Because I felt if I did everything I could and I gave it my complete 100% effort, if it didn't work out, then I wouldn't have excuses and I wouldn't have regret. I wouldn't say, well, you went out and got fucked up every weekend. You would have, been able to do it if not. So I decided to go sober. It was very hard. The last time I had been completely sober for, a month was probably when I was 15. Always between 15 to 23. Never a month sober. So it was very tough for me. Going sober and not drinking, it made me face a lot of issues head on that I had just pushed down deep inside and never really got to. So, I lost a lot of friends. Friends in surface level relationships. I was, kind of bored at the start because you need to fill that time with something else. So, I got addicted to the gym. I got addicted to fitness. I got addicted to bettering myself. I got addicted to reading self-help books. I got addicted to anything that was, anything that could better me as a person, and so I trained. I came out of the gate, and while I was training, this was in April of 2023, I told you I completely ran out of money. I had to ask my dad to help me pay my rent in April of 2023, which, I never am the person to want to ask for help or want to ask my parents to do anything for me. I always want to be self-reliant, self-sufficient, and it was kind of like an ego thing, so it was really tough for me to ask my dad to help me pay my rent that April, because I knew I would get my first paycheck in May when I started, and I would pay him back. But I was out of money. I trained, it was like drinking out of a fire hose, learning all these medical terms, how to read a radiology report, the ins and outs of the CT machines, the differences between these cancers, the types of cancers, the stages, everything. And, so I came out of the gate in my first month, and I was, I think, $10,000 to $15,000 away from the all-time monthly sales record that had not been, that had been there for the 13 years. And so they were like, wow, this kid can actually sell. And, in sales nowadays, what I would accredit my success to in that position was just being able to relate to people. I think salesmen have a certain stigma where, no one wants to be sold anything. And if you can just make a connection with someone and treat that person on the other end of the table like they're your family member, they're your friend, they're your mother, and if you're actually providing value for them and telling them, listening to their issues and making sure what you're going to provide is going to provide that value for them, and verbalizing that in a non-salesy way, that's how it worked for me. So I made relationships with every single person I talked to. I really tried to listen more than I talked, and then use my personal experiences and some of the things that I had learned, seen, and done there to try to help these people out, ultimately, selling them packages of preventative screening, of scans that they could use for them and their family. I would see people's lives get saved on a weekly basis because of our scans, things like calcium scores showing major blockages in the 5 major arteries, which is something that it's crazy to me that America does not do on a regular basis. We just let people go and die of heart attacks every day. That's a story for a different video. But I did very well out the gate. This job, it motivated me, it fulfilled me. I felt like I was making a difference, and I loved coming in every single day and providing the services that we did. So that really was such a huge turning point in my life, that month that I wanted to go sober turned into 8 months of sobriety, because things kept snowballing in the right direction. Everything kept getting better. My performance at my job kept getting better. My physique kept getting better. My workouts kept getting better. My relationships, my relationship with the family, my mental health, my confidence, everything started snowballing in the right direction once I made those changes, faced some of the issues that I had really pushed down inside me, and really finally made a change that I knew I needed, and I think if any of you are watching this and you're in the position that I was in, where you're not happy with what you're currently doing, you're kind of stuck in this vicious cycle of repeating the same behaviors that aren't the best for you, and you think you have some potential inside you that hasn't quite been unlocked, or some issues that you really need to address, take that first step. Do it. It's worth it. Take that first step. It's daunting to think about getting to a finish line, but if you just think about getting to that finish line and not just the first initial step, you'll never get there. If you don't take that first step, you will never have these things snowball in the right direction. You can't just teleport from point A to point Z. You got to go A, B, C, D, all the way through to that final point. So, if any of you are feeling the same way, I urge you to just take that first step. But through that year, so let's see, all throughout 2023, when I was kind of making some of these changes, I was sober, I was working on myself, I found some success. It was always in the back of my mind, hey, I think it'd be a good idea to share some of this online. I think a lot of people in their young to mid-20s may benefit from hearing something like this and seeing, how much some of these changes made a difference in my life, and maybe it could motivate some people. But I was always so scared about what people were going to think about me if I posted online, and it held me back from doing so for an entire year, basically. I was like, oh, these people that I grew up with, these people from high school that, I don't talk to, I don't have many friends that from, my childhood. I have a couple really good friends now, but I was like, these people don't give a fuck about me. but I'm still concerned what they're thinking about me and what I'm doing. And I finally, in January of 2024, I made a video. It was like December 31st, 2023, I sat in my room and recorded an iPhone video talking about what I had accomplished in 2023 and my goals for 2024, because I was very happy with the progress I had made over those 8 months. I had never done anything like that in my life in terms of the new career, in terms of getting sober, in terms of bettering some of these things in my life that I always struggled with, and I wanted to document it. And I also wanted to make a video to tell myself what I wanted to do in 2024. And fuck, that was crazy. Tell myself what I wanted to do in 2024. So I made the video talking to myself in my room, and after I rewatched it, I was like, you know what? I think if I posted this online, it would hold me more accountable. So I edited it up a little bit, and I titled it My Goals for 2024, posted it on TikTok. It was my first TikTok video. And, some people I knew, some friends, watched it, gave me some really positive comments. I got a really, really great response from it. Some random people had watched it and said, this is relatable. I'm proud of you. And I think you're going to do great things this year. And I was like, oh, shit, this is pretty cool, but there's no turning back now. So, in that video, I'm talking about how I want to start social media, how I want to start posting content on a daily basis, how I want to start showing my workouts, my nutrition, some mindset videos. I wanted to make a clothing brand. I wanted to release clothes this year. I wanted to model, all these things, all these big goals that I just put out there. I'm like, fuck, now I really got to give it a go. Now, everybody can see it. It's out there. So that first video I made, I started continuing to make videos, and filming myself was so strange, so weird. It still is weird sometimes, like talking to a camera. But I just try to act like the camera's like my best friend or my mom or my girlfriend, and just try to be myself. That's a mindset that kind of helps me with it. And so I continue to make content, workout videos, fitness, food, clothing, hair care, skincare. And I was like, damn, man, I really like this. I really like this content creation, this sharing, of my life and the things I'm doing. And I started seeing some progress there in terms of, people following me, in terms of some brands reaching out. I posted every single day on TikTok for months, and I think I got to the point in March where I was at like 40-something thousand followers on TikTok, posted every single day since that first one in January. Even on the days where I didn't know what the hell to post or didn't have any video ideas, I would find it and make something work. I just stuck with my goal of posting every single day. And, actually in March, I had joined the creator program on TikTok, which is how they pay you for views. Once I joined that, my views completely plummeted. Like the previous couple weeks I did 1.9 million views that week, 2 million views, 2.1. It was kind of like a steady increase, getting out there to quite a bit of people. I joined the creator program, and the next week I got like 30,000 views. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is the end. And I kind of knew in the back of my head that wasn't the end, but in the moment you're like, gosh, this thing I've been working so hard for, alongside a full-time job, putting this much effort into content, it's just completely shut down. And, guess what it blossomed into? Something so much better, because right after that happened, with kind of my engagement going into shit, a guy sent me this reel on Instagram, and he was like, is this you? And I look at this reel, and it's some random kid with like 1,000 followers. He took my TikTok video of me getting a haircut, and he put it on Instagram Reels. At that time, it had like 10 million views. Now I think it has like 35 million views. It's crazy. But at that time, in March, I had not done anything on Instagram. I just had like my stuff from college there, friends and family. I had like 2,000 followers on Instagram. So I was like, why the hell am I not posting on Instagram Reels if this kid can take this video and it can absolutely blow up? So then I shifted that same mindset on my daily TikTok posting. I was like, okay, I'm going to post daily on TikTok and post daily on Instagram Reels. Posted daily on Instagram Reels, and we built from 2,000 followers in April to now we're in September, and we're at 260,000. So we've recruited over 250,000 people on Instagram from daily Reels in the past 5 months or so, which is pretty crazy to say out loud. The weird thing is that like it doesn't feel any different to me. People ask me that, my friends ask me that, my family has asked me that, like, oh, does it feel different, like having all this out there, or this many people watching you, or this many people eyes on you? No, it doesn't feel different at all. I still feel like the same exact person I was in January. I don't feel like, I thought that maybe numbers would make me feel some sort of way. Like, I thought maybe I would feel accomplished when I got to 100,000 followers. I didn't, to be quite honest with you. It was cool. I got congratulated by my friends, my family, and, a little bit to myself that, wow, you built up 100,000 followers, but it really did not make me feel any gratification, any fulfillment, anything like that. So I think that's a good and a bad thing. I think that, I think gratification from social numbers is not necessarily a benchmark that you should base your, success on or base your happiness on. But I do think it's something I struggle with nowadays, that it's like, it's never enough. It's like, oh, it should be 500,000. It should be 1 million. I should be making this much per month, et cetera. So, that's kind of where things skyrocketed when I started posting on Instagram in April this year. And we've built up over 250,000 followers. I have thoroughly enjoyed the journey, though, and it hasn't been an easy one. It's been busy. August was my first month of self-employment. I quit my job at the preventative screening company in July because, I was sleeping from basically February to end of July. I was sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night. I'd wake up at 6, do work in the morning, do my posts, go work full-time job. I would go to the gym for 2 hours with my workout, my filming, my editing. I would go home. I would work with my fitness clients, my coaching clients. I would edit, post all the videos, and travel and model on the side. And, I wasn't doing too many modeling gigs because I was working a full-time job, but I would do them occasionally. But I was sleeping like 4 hours a night, and it was my goal to quit the job by the end of 2025 and pursue the social media, the content creation, the modeling full-time. And we did it in August. So that was a huge benchmark for me, was to be able to leave that job, which it was a job that I prayed for. It was a job that made me, in the last year, completely transformed my life, and it made me feel that I could do anything that I set my mind to. It made me truly inspired to go out and chase things that I'm scared of, and chase the unknown, because I think oftentimes people are just scared of change. People are scared of the unknown. They want comfortability, they want reliability, and something like that job was. And it was like a job that I could have been happy with for decades. I made a great living. If you were to tell me how much money I was making at 23 years old, 5 years ago, I'd be like, man, you're set. You did it. Great job. You can do it. You can have the nice cars, the house, the family. You don't have to worry about money. You can pay your bills. But even then, I felt like in here, I was meant for more, and I was meant to do more. And I didn't feel like I was using up my full potential. So, I'm so thankful for that job. The higher ups, the executive team at that job, they still watch some of my stuff, and they fully supported me with what I was doing. And I got to the point where my revenue streams, we're getting close and a little bit more than what I was bringing at the normal job. So I'm like, okay, let's take the step, you crazy motherfucker. Quit the job. And then August was my first month of self-employment. So it's been an adjustment, curating my own schedule. It really hasn't been any less busy. I have been getting a little bit more sleep. Probably 6-7 hours instead of the 4 to 5, but it's busy on my terms. It's busy because I'm filling my time with things I want to do. And creating content, I've shifted more towards the lifestyle side of things. I really think that I have more to offer than just sharing fitness, even though it's such a huge part of my life. I want to bring people into the scope of not just fitness, not just nutrition, my entire lifestyle, from the modeling to the traveling to the clothes, to hair care, to skin care, to different brands, to things that I'm passionate about, and showing things that truly make me happy. And if anybody can get inspired by those things or some of the content that I'm creating, that was the original goal. Because I when I sat down with myself right before I posted that first video, I was like, if this can just help one person that was in the same shoes I was 8 months ago get inspired or make a change, then I'll be happy. I didn't get into this because I needed help paying my rent, and I think that's a reason that I gained, a substantial following off the bat, was because I wasn't on there pushing bullshit. I wasn't on there pushing products just to get a bag. I do brand partnerships nowadays of brands I want to work with. I had a company, a clothing company hit me up the other day, offer me 10 grand for 2 reels, get ready with me reels, but the clothing super shitty, and it's like, overseas, and it's clothing I know would just fall apart in the washing machine. I wouldn't wear it, and I said no, so it's like I can partner with brands now that I make money with, that I truly like, and I think staying true to those values and staying true to the reason that I started content, to inspire some people, to help some people. If people get entertainment value out of it, beautiful, but God, it's been a journey, and I'm so happy that I made that first step. I never would have thought that creating one video of me and my goals for 2024 would turn into me self-employed in September of 2024, making more money than I was at my preventative screening job, and traveling around, meeting people I never thought I would be in the same room with. I've met some incredible people this year that I haven't even met in person. We've chatted online that I would consider great friends, that have helped me along the way, that have similar mindsets, they're doing similar things, that surround themselves with people that make them want to be better. And I think that's a huge, huge important thing if you're at a younger age and you're trying to do some things that are maybe greater than the people, those around you. Surround yourself with people that push you, that make you want to be better, that are better than you, that are smarter than you. You should never be the smartest person in the room. You should never want to be the smartest person in the room. You always want to be gaining value and listening to what others have to say. And if you can find, those core people, or find some relationships that, make you want to be better, it makes a hell of a difference. So, I'm super grateful for where I'm at in this point in my life. And we've been doing this for, 9 months now, the content creation side of things. And I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. I think if people tell you they have everything planned out and they know what the hell they're doing, they're just lying to you. It's like, this is a crazy journey we're on as human beings. And, every single day has brought me new opportunities, new possibilities, new ideas, new inspirations for what I want to do, what I want to accomplish, the things I want to, provide for me, my family, my loved ones. And, we're just going to roll with the wind, go where the wind blows me. I'm out here in LA now for 3 weeks with a photographer that ended up messaging me online in April when I started my Instagram. He's became an incredible friend. He introduced me to his friend group. We're going to a music festival next weekend. I'm here. I signed with an agency recently in LA, and I'm out here meeting with clients, doing photo shoots, doing some social media collabs with people like, again, I never thought I'd be in contact with. I'm talking to business owners that have given me an insight that I never thought I would have learned, so I know it's just been an absolute ramble of a video. I have no idea how long it's been. I don't know how I'll be able to cut it, but that's the point of the YouTube. I want to be a little bit more of my authentic self on here. I want people to get an insight to who I am as a person, some of my motive behind what I'm doing and why I'm sharing this, and show people that, even though I'm a, thirsty little hoe on Instagram with underwear pictures and the modeling shoots or the, posing in the gym, I have a little bit more substance behind me that I would like other people to see and I would like to share with other people. So I hope I hope this video gave a few of you a little bit more background on me. I think I basically took you through my childhood up to about 25 years of age now. If you ask me where I'm going to be in a month, couldn't tell you. 6 months, couldn't tell you. 5 years, couldn't tell you. All I know is I'm having fun. You're not supposed to know where you're going to be in that amount of time, but I will tell you that I'm going to put effort into continuing to try to become a better man, to try to help people, to try to gain fulfillment in this life by doing things like traveling, meeting people, seeing the world, and doing things that make me happy, and doing things I'm passionate about. I just did my creative brief for my clothing brand this morning that I'm going to be launching the next few months, hopefully. But that was one of my goals I had on the video in the start of the year. My 2024 goals was to create some clothes because it's passionate about it. It makes me happy. It's not really a revenue stream that can be the most profitable off the bat. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because it's going to challenge me. I'm going to enjoy the journey. I have been enjoying the journey. I think I'm going to have a lot of fulfillment from that journey. So Can't tell you where I'm at, where I'm gonna go. I can tell you that, you know, you'll continue to see shirtless shit online of me. You'll continue to see me be a sarcastic asshole online. But for the people that stayed through the entirety of this video, I do appreciate you. I hope you gained some insight to my life, how I grew up, who I am as a person. If you did like this video, make sure to let me know. Drop a like, drop a comment. I think that's, you know, you have to say that on YouTube videos. You know, they say it in all the ones I watch, so, you know, why not? I'm sure it helps with engagement. So appreciate every single one of you guys has been supportive, and even, you know, critics on this journey. I can open up my phone at any certain point and see hate comments that come through every 10 minutes, you know, so it really outweighs all the negatives when I have people that send me a message and say, you know, this inspired me. You got me in the gym. You got me to think a little bit more critically about this. Or I went and did this because I saw you did this, you know, so that makes me happy. That makes me fulfilled. If one of you guys can take some inspiration from this video, or one of you guys enjoyed it from an entertainment perspective, or just got a little bit better insight to me, you know, then that'll do it. So appreciate every single one of you. You know, we do have some exciting things in the cards coming. I'm going to continue with the long form content as well. You know, ideally I would like to get to a point where I'm releasing one long form YouTube video per week. I'm busy as hell though, so let's see if I can make it happen. I'll make it happen eventually, but, you know, I got so many things in my feet in so many different baskets at the moment that, you know, we're just going to have to see. I don't want to make any promises, but thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Hit that subscribe button if you do want to get notified when my next videos come out. But love you. Gosh, love you guys. I mean, seriously, it sounds like a weird thing to say, but you guys make this possible. You gave me revenue streams that allowed me to quit my job, travel, explore, try new things, meet new people, and be a better version of myself, and wake up grateful that I'm alive that day. You know, I wake up every single day thankful to be breathing, you know, which I didn't have that mindset for a long time, for most of my entire life. So appreciate you. Thank you. See you in the next one.